Welcome to Finish First Financially. Goran Radanovic here. I'm going to read a question from Reddit and then give my take on it. Obviously, not financial or investment advice. It says, would I be an idiot to leave my job right now? I'm a 51-year-old male with a fairly specialized set of skills that has been in high demand for the past few years. I work for the US government, and if you've been following the news, you know things aren't great there right now, but my job might actually be safe. I kind of want to quit and maybe find another job, or maybe just take the summer off and reassess, or finally follow my dreams. Here's the thing. My whole life I've sought financial security and have never been unemployed. I've always wanted to do creative things like writing or being an entrepreneur, but I stuck to the salary plus benefits jobs because I wasn't willing to take the risk. So now here I am. I have 1.55 million invested in between retirement and brokerage accounts and about $90,000 in cash. My job pays $185,000 a year and my wife makes about $95,000. As of a few months ago, my plan was to work until I had 2.5 million and then retire. My expenses are around 50 to 60K a year, so that seems like a pretty comfortable buffer. But we might be heading into the worst economy in a long time. The markets are all over the place, and I don't think the 6 to 8% return assumption is going to apply in the near term. We might see runaway inflation. And while in normal times I'd be confident of getting a new job if I needed one, now I'd be competing with dozens of other ex-government employees with the same set of skills, and we might be heading into a recession. Okay, so I actually think that there's a few things that I would look at if I was in the same situation as you to really assess it and then make my decision. But if I was to give you a short answer, I would say, no, I would not quit my high paying job to go from 185,000 to nothing. So that's the first thing. And it's not only a financial perspective that you need to look at it from, it's also psychological, because you're going to quit and you're going to be excited for the first month or two and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to write or I'm going to build my own business and it's great. And then all of a sudden reality is going to hit you and you're like, geez, I haven't made any money in the last 2-3 months. Sure, I'm doing what I want, but as a man, I feel the responsibility to be the breadwinner, the provider in the house. This is my role. This is my duty, and I'm not fulfilling the duty. And even if I have savings, I don't want to dip into that savings. The savings should really be used for emergencies. If you lose your job, not because you quit your job to try and pursue something that isn't bringing an income. So I think that's extremely important to consider, because the time will come where reality meets the dream and you're like, well, I need to start paying things and I don't want to be dipping into my savings and definitely, heaven forbid, my retirement. So that's something that definitely you should look at. And I think the question you're actually asking is, should I leave my job as opposed and find something else, something similar, as opposed to should I just leave my job? I don't think that's what you want. You obviously want to go into doing something else, but remember that new venture, especially a new business or a writing, which will be a hobby to you in the beginning, you're not going to make any money from it in the beginning. So if you're going to go down that route, incorporate it while you have a job. Do it at night, do it over the weekends until it builds up and until you have some kind of an income that you can fall back on. So at the very, very minimum, you need to be making some kind of part-time income if you were to quit this job. Regardless of how much is in your savings, regardless of what's in your retirement, there's a psychological aspect of feeling the need to be earning money because this is your role as a man, and that's definitely going to come into play. It's going to be a big factor. And the last thing that you want to do is to quit your job, not be earning any money, and then 3-4 months down the line you're like, oh geez, I can't keep doing this, I can't keep going on like this, and then you can't find another job because, like you said, the competition in the labor marketplace is now so stiff because a lot of people have lost their jobs. And you might struggle to find another job, but definitely to replace that high income of yours. So that's the first thing. Another thing, even though you've got $90,000 in cash for your savings, you don't want to be dipping into that. It seems like your wife's salary after tax will be able to cover your monthly your expenses of 50 to 60K a year. What's worrying me there is that your expenses are pretty high for somebody who would now go from having that 185 to not having anything, which tells me you probably have a mortgage that you're paying off. And in that case, I would not be risking my house just to, try out entrepreneurship or try out, my writing. I would at the very least pay off my home before I did something like that. That's how I would look at it. And even though you've got the $90,000 that you've got in savings, you in a couple of months, a year, that account is depleted. It's gone. If you are not making any other income and you're just using that money goes very quickly. So that's how I would handle the situation. Obviously, if you are gonna just not decide to get up and leave, and you're not going to have an income because you want to pursue side ventures, you need to reduce your expenses as much as possible. And if you want to learn how to do that, how to pay off your debt as quickly as possible, you can check out my book, From Homeless to Debtless with Savings. I'll put a link in the description below, and I wish you all the best.